Alright, so this video is going to be a lot shorter because I'm going to Lightbox Expo and I'm also playing Uma Musume, so I'm busy. But the topic of this one, I still want to try to explain it as clearly as I can, and it's going to be about proportions of the legs, very specific topic. So why am I bringing up proportions of the leg? Proportions of the leg is something that I see often with people where they are a bit stuck on, they can't decide, they don't know how long to make the legs, or it's not like they don't know, but the way they draw it, their legs are all off. It's actually a really common mistake that even pros do. It's just something that you need to pay attention to. So first off the bat, just general, your everyday classic figure should have the legs be the same length as the torso plus the head, where the bottom of the pelvis and the beginning of the legs should be around halfway across the body. That's the baseline information, right? So we see that in this, where 50%, 50%. As long as this is memorized, that's fine. You don't need to, I don't really remember 7 heads, 8 heads tall, whatever. The main thing that actually just sticks in your head is just knowing that, okay, the bottom of the pelvis is the halfway point of the body. So that way, once you start drawing your person, this is the torso area. So I know, okay, I just need to make sure that the legs are about halfway. So it's like this, and then this, boom, this is where the legs should end. And the question is, how do people get it wrong? And you'll kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm purposely trying to do it wrong, but it's kind of hard. I tried to do it in the first one, but it actually turned out pretty well, because I think once you get enough mileage and you draw enough, then you'll develop an intuitive perspective. So even though I was trying to draw it wrong, I still ended up drawing it right. But in this case, I think it kind of shows a little bit more of the issue, and you'll see that the biggest mistake or sometimes is where you're just focusing on one part, where you just kind of draw with only one, just like two. Either if you're doing it digitally, you're drawing way too zoomed in, so you're not seeing the full picture, or two, if you're drawing traditionally, you're just focusing too much on a specific part and you're not thinking, you're not aware of it. So how do we fix it? The first and most easiest fix for this issue is just being aware of it. So a lot of times when we're drawing and stuff, we're kind of on autopilot and you're not thinking, and then you kind of make the legs a little bit too long or too short or whatever. But just as long as you're aware of the fact that, okay, it's like around halfway across the body, then you're good, right? It's not a super complex idea. The other idea that I'm kind of showing here a bit more is the fact that you should draw zoomed out. If you're doing digitally, make sure you have the navigator in the side so you can see the entire canvas, you can see it small, and also draw from farther away, so that way you can get the entire figure kind of mapped out and the proportions set up. Because if you're looking at it from far away, your mind is able to actually see the entire thing. And as humans, we see humans a lot, so we should be able to have a good sense of can this person exist in real life? Do they look weird or not? So this is where I'm kind of showcasing the idea that as long as you have this torso area done, you have the torso mapped out with the head, torso plus head, your legs should be around the same length as that. So it's good to just practice doing a bunch of just standing poses where you can get a good sense of the figure. And in this case, this is also a common proportions for humans, is that the legs are just slightly shorter than the torso plus the head. So this would be a little bit longer than this, which is actually a bit more, I think, more realistic in proportions. And then if you want to go into the supermodel mode or the superhero mode, then you can get the nice long legs. And this also goes into the idea of mannequinization, having a good mannequin ready, because then you can draw the mannequin and then slowly push and pull different parts of it so that it fits whatever, fits the character, fits the model, fits whatever that you're trying to design and draw out. Placing the legs is also good. This sort of comes in with proportions, or this comes in with gesture and just gesture and balance. You want to make sure that the figure is standing and is balanced and is stable, and that comes with practice using gesture, practice focusing on like their center of gravity and everything. So you want to make sure that when you're putting down the legs, you measure it out, whether slowly or quickly, and you place them so that the figure is standing sturdily on the ground. And then once you kind of get a few of these drawings under your belt, you can move on to more foreshortened poses and bent poses, and you want to see where the landmarks are. And the big landmark is the knee. You want to keep track of the knee, how far is it sticking, how forward, how big it is compared to everything else, and then also getting your primitive shapes locked in so that way you can, draw things that are foreshortened. If a foreshortened arm, a foreshortened leg is basically just a foreshortened cylinder, and if you know how to do cylinders in perspective in any angle, then you can do any body part in any angle. So in this case here, this whole thing is basically just as long as you understand the foreshortened cylinder, right? And then I have a second cylinder going away, which is this one here, like that. So if you know how to do your cylinders, you're good. Best way to fix if you have these like leg issues is to just be aware of the distance and the length, and just knowing the general rules and knowing your tendencies.